Now, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah says the raid of a training ground of some secessionists is just the beginning of government's efforts to clamp down the activities of the group. Security agencies are on a manhunt for anyone connected with the Homeland Study Group Foundation, demanding an independent Western Togoland from Ghana. A special operation by the 66th Artillery Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces rounded up 21 recruits undergoing training at a remote location 10 kilometers north of Volta region town of Juja, along Ghana's border with Togo. JoyNews' editor Fred Smith has more.
They were able to round up 20 of them. We just got one who was finding his way out. So that makes it 21 in all. We are told they were estimated to be between 20 and 25. Between 20 and 25.
So some are actually on the run?
Yes, we can say about 3 or 4 are on the run, but we are still, the operation is not yet over.
How are you able to determine that this young man we found is part of them?
He has confessed. He has confessed as being one of them. And he has mentioned somebody he joined the group with. So there's a confirmation that he's one of them.
We came and met them sleeping. Okay. Because obviously around that time you will expect that in a training camp, that is the time they sleep.
Which side were they sleeping, if you can point to me?
Okay. So
I can see mat.
A mat, yes.
Okay, so...
And this one is like a canopy for them. They use wood and rubber to cover the top. This is a mosquito net. That is a cover sheets. You see the boots? You can see even bowls because they sleep here, they eat here.
Okay.
So you can see some of their cooking utensils or the bowls that they used to eat. So this is where we found most of them.
How does such a place qualify as a military training base?
Okay, I'll start with the vegetation. You see how thick the vegetation is. This one, it affords natural cover. When you are here, until somebody enters, the person will not know that there are people here. Here, even without the tent they did, or the canopy they did, you can sleep under it. It gives you shade during the day. Even when it rains, it will be difficult for the rain to touch you because of the natural cover that it provides. At the same time, the vegetation also, it allows you to escape when there is any attack. You know that out of 25, we got 21. So therefore, we believe strongly that they are people who know this place very well. So they were able to escape. This is a new terrain for us, and so they were able to beat us. Now you look at the terrain itself, the ground. You see the ground is not flat. Okay. It's undulating. It can do a lot of things. The ground itself is suitable for training because it is rugged. You can see the valleys. Some places there are valleys, some places there are high grounds. And so even walking around here is enough to make you fit. They're the same way again. You see the river line that you see there? Yes. Yes, when you are escaping through this river line, where we came from, this one takes you straight there. So assuming an attack comes from this direction, you only jump into the valley there, and it leads you straight outside the camp, and you are gone.
Does this give the indication that those behind this training camp are actually skilled in military matters?
Well, as a professional military officer, if I am in charge of such a thing, I believe that I will do some of the things that I've seen. And so even though I can't tell whether they are skilled or not, but this is obviously people who know what they are about. This is about 3 kilometers from Juja. Specifically, the name is Pevedre. Pevedre, that's the name that the villagers around gave us. And it's about 3 kilometers from the Juja town. Yes, but the name is Pevedre.
And we do understand that this is quite close to the Togo border with Togo.
Yes, you can check your mobile phone. All your network has changed to Togo network. We believe that that is one of the fear that they use to keep the recruit here. Because if you tell a recruit that where you are, I mean, if the man doesn't know where he is, and you tell him that if you move an inch from here, you'll be entering Togo. And when you enter Togo, you'll be arrested.
All right, so what's your name?
Michael Dakune, sir.
Okay, can you confirm that you are part of this military training that was happening here?
Please come again.
Were you part of the training that was taking place here in this area that we are?
Yes, sir.
You were part of it. What sort of training were you being given?
Officer, please, we came here, we wake up in the morning, we go jogging, we do stomach exercise. They give us some logs to carry. And after that, we come for break to come and eat. We go and fetch water, then we bath. They give us time to work on it, to do our physical training.
And what did they tell you are doing that for?
Officer, please, I was in here like 3 days. But as we came here, we see that some people are here before we were here. But as we were working on, as some people are in the town, one of the guys in the town, he have been giving the money from where we head up, the money is on suspects.
So my colleague Fred Smith, who witnessed the entire exercise, he was actually embedded in the team that carry out the swoop, joins me in the studio for more. Fred, good morning. So this gentleman that you were speaking with just before we came into the studio, this is one of the guys who was being trained.
Indeed.
Did he understand what he was doing?
Well, it doesn't appear to me that they understood what they were going to do before they got there. But when they finally got there, they were told at this point it would have been difficult for them to exit because there were threats to them. Their mobile phones were taken, and there was a pot I saw at the entrance. You saw the cave. The entrance to the cave, there's a certain pot, and they were told that once you cross that pot, you are ending up in Togo and you'll be shot dead. And so these people were there, and some of them, you realize, had regretted joining this, but they were forced to be there. And what the military explains is that in such situations, the people want to adapt to the situation and just fall in it. So it would have been an indoctrination of them, and they would have actually done this thing.
So initially all 21 thought they were being recruited into the Ghana Armed Forces?
I didn't speak to all 21, but majority of them I spoke to indicated that they were told they were being recruited into the Ghana Armed Forces, and this was actually a protocol recruitment, and so you're not going to go to Accra or the regular place. They will put you there, and then when you're ready, they will add you to the national squad.
There was one female.
Yes, that's the only female who was there. I spoke to her, and she told me she's actually a teacher. We can hear her now. I'll say some more about her after we've heard from her.
Justine
Abuchi.
Abuchi. What are you doing here?
They are training us. They told us they are coming to do farm work. So when we came, they said they are coming to train us.
No, is that they told you that?
We are coming to do farm work for the whites.
Farm work?
Yes.
For white people? Okay, and when you got here, they said it's the military training?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what have you been doing in this training?
We have been doing jogging and those exercises that they have been doing. I've also been doing.
Exercises? How long were you here?
For 1 week.
You were here for 1 week. Okay, so in this 1 week, how were you surviving? Did you tell your parents you were coming here?
Where I am right now, my parents don't know anything about it. When I reached here, they took my phone from me, so I was not able to communicate with them and told them where I am right now.
Okay, so do you know where you are?
No, please.
You have no idea where this place is?
Yes.
I see. Do you really want to be a soldier?
No.
You don't want to be a soldier? Okay, so when you realized we were giving you training for what you don't want to do, why didn't you leave here?
The person trained us, he told us that if you don't know you want to run away, you go and enter Togo. And then the election year, if you don't take time, they'll kill you. So I'm afraid, I don't know where I'll pass and go back. So I was just...
Were they giving you food?
Yes.
You had enough food to eat?
They feed us morning and evening.
Morning and evening, so there was no food in the afternoon?
Yes.
I see. What sort of food were you given?
Rice, banku and beans.
Did you pay any money to be part of this?
Yes, they asked us to pay 800 Ghana cedis.
So have you paid?
Yes.
How did you get the money?
I called my auntie and she sent me some money, and I asked my father to give me some money. So when I gathered all, and I had eating.
But before you came here, what were you doing? Like a business you were doing?
I've been teaching as a people teacher.
You were a teacher?
Yes.
At where?
At Kaswa.
Okay, so Fred Smith, lots of questions even from this interaction with this lady. A pupil teacher leaves to go and work as a farmer for some white people. That's the story she claims.
In a remote
given
part of the Volta region, somewhere along the border with Togo. And I personally didn't feel that I'd had enough from this lady. So I wanted more. I thought that she did not open up too well to me in this interview. And so when we got to the Juje township, that would have been a 1.5 hour walk plus 30-minute ride, convoy speed ride to access town.
Okay.
Once we got to town, I said, well, everybody is tired and wanted to actually drink 2 bottles of water. And I thought that this is something that she would need. So I intentionally bought Coca-Cola and gave it to her just to see if that would break the ice for us to have further conversation. She actually rejected it. So I waited. When the flight landed in Accra, I went to her again. This time, I just wanted to know if, being the only female amongst 20 or more men, whether they had abused her sexually in any way. She said no. She was fine. They actually worked together, trained together as equals.
But they didn't try to escape.
They didn't try to escape. These are people who have been there for a week. One of them I spoke to has been there for just 3 days. Okay, so they had just started the military training. They had never handled weapon. They had not gotten to that stage yet. So they were only carrying logs and climbing trees. I saw in the valley, there's a tree that bends above them, and there are some ropes. The military men who carried out the operation themselves wanted to understand why they have those ropes there, because it didn't look natural, you know. And so, yeah.
Did they explain how they got there in the first place?
Well, they were recruited individually from different parts of the country. There's one other gentleman I spoke to. He was recruited from Dodoa, Greater Accra region. He was told that he was going to enter the Ghana Armed Forces and that the training starts from there. He was made to pay 800 cedis, which was going to be used to feed them, give them training, other things. And he made that payment. He and 2 other brothers of his all wanted to be part of this, but because they didn't have enough money, not all of them were able to come. So this man who was able to enlist is actually an Okada rider in Dodoa. That's what he told me.
Okay.
The lady you heard from, a pupil teacher in Kaswa, thought that she needed better opportunities. And
to work as a farmer for some white people.
Yes. And then she came. So when she got there, she was told it was a military training.
But she didn't resist it.
She didn't resist because of the circumstances. Your mobile phone's taken from you. You can't tell anybody that you can. And you've also been told you cannot leave this place.
So what did they make of, you know, the arrests, the raid?
If they appeared to have regretted joining, but it didn't look like they were too surprised about what was happening. And I would want to think that maybe we got there several hours after the operation, so that element of surprise in their faces that I would have noticed may have left at the time.
There was information that somebody may have tipped either the leaders or some of the group members, so not all were found there.
Yes, it's one of the recruits I spoke to. He said, he mentioned the name Red, that Red told their leaders, and so the leaders...
Who's Red?
He doesn't tell me who Red is, but it's just the person called Red tipped their leaders. And so as the military came in and there was firing of gunshots, the leaders managed to flee.
But Fred, this was a military operation.
Indeed.
So if somebody called somebody in the group to alert them, is that the whole story? Because
well, it looks
may
like...
sound like somebody who knew about the operation or probably saw that they were coming, something
Well,
of the sort.
I think we need to wait for this investigation. Last night, the BNI National Security took over these people and are interrogating them. So I'm sure when they come out, we will get a clearer picture of what happened. But my understanding from this person who was speaking was that this Red person actually walked there So we can't tell if it's somebody who had intelligence or somebody who had just spotted people coming and told them to run away.
We see that they're carrying some things from their training camp.
Yes.
Can you describe what they were
all right. So you see all of these things. They where they keep their food. They keep their food in this. We saw condo. We saw rice. We saw tomato paste and others. Cooking oil. They also had some. Yeah. So that's the vegetable oil they are carrying there. They use these to cook rice, bangkung, and others, and they eat. And at the time we went, there were bowls of rice, which I think they were about to eat, but did not. So they were just poured on the ground. So they've carried all of these things, and they've brought all of them to Accra. They are part of the things the investigators will be looking at.
Okay. So we also understand that there are some men on the run that the operational team is looking for. Explain.
Yes, indeed. The leaders, as I mentioned earlier, are the ones who got wind of this operation and quickly escaped. The nature of this camp is such that whichever angle you are coming, and I'm sure these people, because they are so fresh, they don't have the experience. That's why they were able to apprehend them. Otherwise, it is such a strategic area that any person should easily be able to escape if there's attack.
Okay, so anyone familiar with the territory,
yes, should be able to escape.
Okay, all right. So Fred, I guess in the coming hours, the coming days, there will be more of this developing story. But in a related development, speaking on top story, after the raid that led to the arrest of the 21 people, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah indicated the government will ensure the activities of the secessionists are halted.
Nation of Bureau of National Investigation Officers and National Security Officers, as well as military intelligence officers, will be commencing a proper interrogation exercise to get a detailed understanding of all that has transpired at this training facility to make the necessary determination of the laws that have been breached by this exercise, so that the consequential action is taken. Remember, a little over a couple of months ago, government issued a statement clearly making the point that any such activity will be in contravention of the Republic's laws, and that the state security apparatus remain on the alert to deal with any such acts. And in the days gone by, the intelligence reports that came in proved to be of an actionable nature. The managers of our national security apparatus have been very clear that this sort of behavior, attempts at secession, attempts at training paramilitary groups, is in contravention of the laws of our country, and any persons involved in it will be hunted down and dealt with in accordance with our laws. This, therefore, cannot be the end of it. The necessary intelligence protocols that were activated the very first time these activities were observed will continue to be in place so that the persons behind this exercise are apprehended and are dealt with in accordance with the laws of the Republic.
All right, Fred Smith, let's talk about the group behind this Homeland Study Group Foundation. What more can you tell us about them?
Well, I'm sure you've heard about the Kujoji, the leader of this group. Is a retired educationist who believes that a part of the Volta region belongs to Western Togoland, but was absorbed by the United Nations, or Ghana adopted it at some point. So they've been fighting for independence for some time now, and have done all sorts of things to do this, holding lectures, holding fora here and there, and also contacting people individually and raising funds to advance this. He, the leader, and 6 others were arrested sometime in May 2017. Subsequently, there were people who demonstrated against the arrest of the leader, the leaders. Then these people were also arrested. About 81 of them were picked up. Following that, some other people were also arrested, all in connection with the plan to secede from Ghana. They were put before court actually, but sometime last year, I think July, the Attorney General discontinued the case in courts, and there's no further information on this to tell you, Mama.
They still have a functioning Facebook page, which we are actually displaying. What have they been talking about on this Facebook page?
Well, on the page, they announced to the public what they want to do, what their vision is, which territories they believe they will be belongs to them, and what their motivation really is. And the brief I had from the military on their motivation is that there was a plebiscite which is expected to change after 50 years. This was done so many years ago, but they expected that to reverse in 50 years. Then you recall last year there was this controversy in Parliament when the finance minister presented the budget. There was the omission of the Volta region from it. Well, that's also a point which they are running on. And then there are socioeconomic considerations as well, because when they do this, they expect to own the Akosombo Dam. The Akosombo Dam will fall under this territory. They will also, you recall that we've made significant oil discoveries along the Volta Basin heading towards Togo. All of these things motivate them to push for this agenda, and these are some of the things they put on social media for those who are interested in them to follow and buy into their idea.
So this is not a hidden group?
Well, not a hidden group. If you speak to people in the Volta region, there are lots of people, very educated, very influential people who buy into the ideas of this. In fact, the government brief is that they're taking this matter very seriously because of the influence they wield on the ground in the Volta region.
All right. Many thanks, Fred Smith. We'll leave this here, and we will definitely let you in as and when we do have more information on this issue of the Homeland Study Group Foundation.